Hello and welcome to another player profile and projection here on Talkin Yanks. We are talking about Marcus Stroman on today's episode. He's in the rotation. He's a starter. People thought he might get traded because he's got a big salary and they had a lot of pitchers. Well, at this point, he's in the rotation for sure because Heel and Cole are down. And by the time you hear this, hopefully, there's not more people down. Jake, Marcus Stroman. Marcus Earl Stroman.
I'm glad, when we schedule out PPPs, there is a strategy behind it, and this was one that we had to wait on. I think we thought it would be for different reasons. Everyone assumed for financial reasons that Stro would be, and starting pitching depth, that Stro would be on another team, and said he might be pitching in a very early game for the Yanks this year. And maybe this sounds like Yankee spin zone, but you should be a little excited for it. Stroman started the year hot last year. Stroman is a ground ball pitcher that does rely on defense, and we saw what happened to the Yankees. So I don't know. It would be a fun little New York turnaround from, we were wondering if things were going to blow up with Yankees and Stroman to, hey, we need you. You want this. Let's do it, babe.
Let's do it. I am very curious about Stroman with the new defense. It could be, right. There's a lot of storylines that I want to throw out there. One, new defense behind him. That was an issue. We can go into that more. There's some numbers that are kind of crazy to back it up. They got a better defense on paper. Should be a better defense. Yeah, he's behind Stroman. He's a ground ball pitcher. Last couple of years, tale of two halves. He started his first half really well, and then the second half has gone poorly due to injury or due to not injury. But even for the Cubs, he was not part of the rotation down the stretch when in the first half he was their best pitcher. That one season. Is that 2 seasons ago? Or is that 1 season ago? I forget.
I think 2.
And then, short man syndrome. We're talking about, talking about in a positive way. I'm saying that about Stro in a very positive way. We're talking about Marcus Stroman is one of only 6 pitchers shorter than 5'10" to make a start at the MLB level in the 21st century. One of only 6 to make a start. And he's got to be the only one that has had the longevity he's had.
Under what height?
Under 5'10".
Under 5'10", yeah. I wonder what Pedro's listed as, but yeah, I mean, no, Stroman's a freak, dude. And Gold Glove kind of guy that usually we get a video of him every year taking ground balls at shortstop, and he moves like an athlete. And it's so funny. You put any of those 6'4" pitchers out at shortstop, and it's one of those, oh my God moments. You realize how different a world they live in. But yeah, every year we get the Stroman clip, and it's like, oh yeah, he kind of moves like a middle infielder, which you just don't see from pitchers.
Pedro listed at 5'11". Just
lies.
Answer. You think so?
Big time.
How tall was Lincecum? Was 5'11". I don't know. Davey's got to be one of those 6, right?
Yeah.
Is Justice Sheffield one of those 6? Davey Garcia listed at 5'11".
Wait, who? Davey?
Justice Sheffield's listed at 5'10". Davey Garcia listed at 5'11".
That's... What? So it's just
okay. Wikipedia has Davey Garcia at 5'9".
Okay.
I mean, let me see. I mean, not Wikipedia, just Google. Let me see what. So Baseball Reference is a lie factory.
The players, I think, get to write their height.
Sonny Gray 5'10". Yeah. So I don't know that only 6. So only 6 that admit it. And that's why we
Right.
like Stro. For all the
Sonny's
short guys
good.
out there. Stroman was interesting to watch last year. His pitch style was interesting to watch.
Yeah.
It was almost bizarre to watch.
Yeah, we thought that was going to be a little bit more fun between Stroman's defense, and we were like, oh, the pitch mix and his accuracy. But it kind of turned out Stroman very much plays modern baseball, where if he gets ahead, he's going to bounce too and hope you swing at it. And a couple times guys did. And then I feel like we would we would all have these aha moments of like you'd get a little frustrated and you'd be like, Stro, you got him 1-2. Like, let's go at him, pal. And then you'd see a guy swing at a bad pitch and you'd be like, well, that's why you do it, because that's a strikeout instead of the risk of anything.
Yeah, I remember him doing it to Blue Jays one game, and you're like, oh, okay.
Right.
That's it. But Wells was setting up so far off the plate, like watching Little League.
That was crazy.
He would just walk guys. I don't know what his walk rate was last year. But it feels like it had to be a lot.
Yeah, and it was weird. And I guess right now we're trying to sort through our head of like, dude, Stroman got out to electric start. Those first 14 starts, he had a 2.82 ERA. There was 4 mess starts, and everything else was great. And we were wondering how Stroman was going to mesh with the city and all of this. That it's hard because it unraveled pretty quickly, and it felt uncompetitive, like you're saying, with these walks. And I guess again, now knowing the defense a little more, I guess we also had in our head, like, you're not going to get helped out. You're almost waiting for the one, okay, runner on first, botch the double play, and now here comes the big inning. That, again, I don't know how fair that is to Stro.
The defense is interesting. Remember in Toronto, he said, show a little effing intensity to Glaber. And then Glaber had the least outs above average for a pitcher. Like, they were the worst combination.
Right.
It was Glaber and Marcus Stroman was negative. There was a montage of that and how bad it was. And even like his batting average on ground balls, which is what he does, was not good. Like, it was a 272 batting average on ground balls. The 2 years prior, with the Cubs, who had one of the best infields, it was 174 and 171. Talking about a giant jump in ground balls. And the exit velocity, so like the hard hit rate, went down. It's not like the ground balls got harder. So that's
right.
Shifting for him was wrong, or the defensive ability of the defense behind him was poor. And let me just let you know, it was the opposite. It was the latter. The Yankees had the worst right field, infield defense in all of baseball. Second and first was the worst. So with a better infield, with Jazz over there and Volpe and Goldie, who hopefully can help out more than Rizzo could, and then whoever else was at first last year, like, how much will that change for him? It should help a lot. That's a big difference. It's a 100 point jump in batting average.
You'd like to think that's going to improve. And I guess another thing for Yankee fans is right now, as we record this on March 11th, we're talking about the Oswalds playing third base. I wonder if that's not Stroman days are an opportunity to get Oswald Peraza a little more playing time. Because I think his potential upside at third base is higher. He's got that shortstop arm that I guess this is more so Yankees and Peraza, that they might see that as another lane to get him in.
To get him in.
Human.
Another note that I ran into here that I thought was of interest, Jake.
Okay.
Baseball Reference has a stat for starting pitchers called bequeathed runners. left on. You leave the game and you leave these runners on, right? Now, we know as the Yankees as a strategy, they do that a lot more than they bring their relievers into situations with runners on more than other teams. And Stroman had there's a word, I'm blanking on it. He would walk guys if he was lost them a little bit, like he would just be like next, and then he would get taken out. Stroman bequeathed the most runners in all of baseball last year as a starting pitcher. He tied with Cutter Crawford for 26 runners left on base. To use normal baseball terms, it would be he left 26 runners on base in his 29 starts. Now, Cutter Crawford had 32 starts. So per start, Stroman left more runners on base than any other pitcher in baseball.
Not great. Not great. Yeah, the only other one that jumps out to me on our page here, and I forget if you've said this, I'm sorry, but the first pitch of at bat stat, did you say that one?
No, what is that one?
So opponents batted .425 against Marcus Stroman on the first pitch of at bats, third worst of starting pitchers over a certain threshold. The previous year, opponents batted .259 on the first pitch. So I wonder if was the scouting report out on Stroman? Like what? Again, is that just bad luck? Is that the baseball season? But that would be the first thing if I'm Marcus Stroman. I'm like, hey, that first pitch, I got to be a little better than get me over.
I think it's a good call.
It's a crazy number.
It's a crazy number. I want to see, actually, did he induce a ton of double plays with the Cubs and their great defense? Because I was looking at his walk rate, and it was the same the year before with the Cubs. So he was putting guys on base pretty similarly with the Cubs, but I wonder if he went to that strategy that you saw Blake Snell do as well in his Cy Young year, because he's like, oh, I got to get defense. And then he tried to bring that over to the Yankees last year, and all of a sudden it was not working. So that's...
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny exercise of, sometimes we do like, hey, if we were the coach, we would do this, or we were the coach, we would say this. I think for Stroman, it'd be like, hey, dude, go out and do the same thing. Sorry the defense let you down. Maybe be a little better on first pitches, but dude, if we get those first 14 from Stroman again, like he's back to being, that man is a hero.
That man is a hero. Was he bad with stolen bases last year? Didn't they need to lock him in, holding runners?
Interesting. In my head, they had to convince him to buy in. Yes.
Yeah, I think he was one of the pitchers who were like, hey, man, we need you to do this. So that's another thing we can say. Let's work on that too.
Okay.
But be all pissy and nasty that everyone thought you were going to get traded. Go out there. Hey, you know what? Have a great first half. Help us out. We need some help in the first half.
Have a great first half.
I mean, as far as pitch mix goes for Stro, it's kind of everything.
Yeah, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitches listed. The last 2 are 3%, but
yeah. To righties, I know he really likes to go just something that breaks right and then something that comes in, two-seamer at the end. But he does have a lot of different pitches. So what's his sinker's the most used, and then cutter and slider. So there you go. And slurve. So he's got 3 that move right to left. Cutter, slider, slurve. And then he's got the sinker, which moves left to right. Just 2-strike. 2-strike he threw majority of the time. Slider, sinker. Yeah. Yeah, how about that? Did any pitch get lit up? Does Matt Blake need to go say, hey, cut it out?
Matt Blake will say, hey.
The cutter. Cutter did not fare well. Split finger. Nasty. Oh, this is just with 2 strikes. My bad. My bad. It was just with 2 strikes. Still the cutter.
Okay.
Ooh, the slurve. Wow. 4-seam fastball. He threw 72 of them. This is nuts, Jake. He threw 72 4-seam fastballs. That's not a lot. Only 2.7%. 875 slugging percentage against it and a 625 batting average.
I would say maybe no.
Don't throw that anymore?
I'm leaning no.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like a bad one. That's so interesting because the year before, he would be able to sneak that by guys. Like his numbers were good with other teams. I wonder if the velo was down or it's just people don't care anymore. I mean, his velo was way down in general. Yeah, the velo was down. Like the 4-seam was 89 and the years before it was like 93. Some of the easiest in-game betting I ever did was when we went to see Marcus Stroman versus the Marlins that game. I was like, will this next pitch be above or below 90 miles per hour? And he hadn't thrown a pitch above 90 miles per hour all game. Right. So me and Ryan were just hammering under.
Free money.
The odds weren't like in your favor, but I was betting like $200 and then I would win like $50 or whatever the hell it was.
I like $50.
We did it like 7 times in a row and then they switched it.
Yeah.
He hasn't thrown one above 90, guys. Fix your math. Him and Wellesley liked each other. They wear the matching do-rags. He doesn't want to go to the bullpen.
No.
What's his leash?
Well, I think the other elephant in the room right now, imagine, Stroman and his contract this year is contingent upon 140 innings pitched, and he gets a player option for next year, which we spent this whole offseason being like, Stroman's price tag's off, we got to move him, blah, blah, blah. That first half we're dreaming of Stroman being nails and being a key cog on the team, makes the second half get real interesting real quick. And I don't know. It could be a fun, weird part of this Yankees season.
What's the price point on the option?
Same price point.
I believe 18? It's 18 mil.
5 again.
Okay. How many innings?
140.
140 divided by 5.2 is probably his average start. 26 starts.
Last year he threw 154.
Interesting.
And not to spoil it, but our over-under is 139.5, which is essentially the question of, do they let him get there?
He averaged 5.2, and that's not 2 outs. So that's like
it's 2/10 of it.
2/10 innings a start last year. So do you need more, or do they care about that number? I don't think in-game decisions, as far as pulling him out of a game, will be dictated by that number. Now, whether he makes the start or goes to the bullpen or skip starts down the stretch, that would be dictated because front office is saying, hey, blah, 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 or trade him is harder, or stuff like that.
Yeah, the Yankees are very... The Yankees are very, these things figure themselves out, and they usually do, but boy, that conversation can go a lot of different ways. Marcus Stroman is really good. Hey, maybe the Yankees will just cave to that fact, and they'll be like, hey, worst case scenario, Stroman comes in as next year's 6. Someone's going to get hurt. He'll give us a first half. We'll figure it out. And then, yeah, I mean, with the way he's been pitching, he's an injury away from not hitting that I don't know, that also is very possible. And then if he's pitching poorly, they'll probably trade off of him or move him to the bullpen. So, yeah, I guess it probably won't be that much of a storyline because if he pitches well and he's earning those innings, I think the Yanks will be a little handcuffed.
Yeah, it's a weird deal. Do you He does not go deep into games. That's not to say his pitch count he doesn't throw a lot. So just give you the numbers and then try to formulate a point here. In 2021, he threw over 100 pitches in a game once. In 2022, he never did it. He never threw more than 100 pitches in a game. In 2023, he did it twice. Last year with the Yankees, he did it 3 times. So his most in the last 4 years. It's an interesting thing when we saw him throw a lot of setup or waste pitches, like a lot last year, like noticeably more than we see pitchers usually throw out of Stro. Like that was kind of a nothing pitch, or he's just riding the line. But then he also, managers take him out before he reaches 100. It's like that's a bad combination.
Yeah, Jim, the deeper you get into the numbers, it's actually interesting, and I wonder if it's Yankee fans maybe a shade of Jordan Montgomery of like finding out what pitches you have that day. Stroman's numbers last year, the first time through the lineup and his first 25 pitches, he kind of got rocked. OPS is in the 8s. His second time seeing batters, they had a 643 OPS. Pretty good. And then it's funny, pitches 26 through 50, the OPS comes down. Pitches 51 through 75 are his best numbers. So I wonder if that's getting comfortable. I wonder if that's finding the stuff you have that day. I wonder if he's like a traditional pitcher in the fact he's trying to set guys up. I wonder if that ties into him just trying to throw fastballs like a lot of pitchers do that first time through, and his fastball got rocked. But yeah, because then after pitch 75, he turns everyone into Soto.
It's nice of him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find some data to go on your point here. So first time through last year, his pitch mix was 40% sinker, 18% slider, 17% cutter. Those are the top 3. Second time through, let's see if it changes in any way. Yeah, it gets, the slurve comes into play second time through more. Well, no, the slurve stays at 14. Split finger comes in. So, okay, he doesn't throw the split finger first time through a lot. Or he didn't last year, 7%. Second time through, it doubles to 14%.
Okay.
And then third time facing batters in a game, well, that's pretty even. The split finger stays at 14. The slurve goes down. Sinker, cutter, slider. So first time through is his worst, you said?
Well, no, third time through is his worst, but it's first time through is pretty bad. Second time through is very good.
That splitter gets introduced as the biggest difference last year. And the numbers on the splitter are really good. So
throw that good pitch.
That's what they always say. Yeah, I'd like Stro to go deeper into games. I mean, we're interested in our starting pitcher. He is a established starting pitcher, or maybe less bequeathed runners, like more like that was Stro's game. I feel like he was always handing but that's a little bit of how Boone manages. The starting pitcher is always kind of handing the result to the bullpen, like, help me out here. Because Nestor had a ton last year too of bequeathed runners. Thing is, bullpen always helps him out because bullpen's pretty good. Yeah. Anything else? What do we got? We got a video.
Got a video after this.
It's an exciting time for sports. Spring training, as you know. Also, the most exciting month in college basketball is here with underdogs ready to fight their way to the top and established teams ready to defend their titles. This is the time to lock in your picks with our partners at DraftKings. Right now, all new customers who bet just $5 will get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you use code YANKS. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use code YANKS. Bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code YANKS only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
What is this?
Defensive wizard, Marcus Stroman.
Sure.
Right back to Stroman.
Pretty cool
He
about
can
it.
field his position. Right back to Stroman. There's one.
That's nice. And again,
Really
double
nice.
play.
6-3.
Is that in London?
There it is. I was just about to say, maybe
He was just about to say.
Right back to Stroman, who can field that
It's a little
position
short
with
hop on that one,
anybody.
it looked like.
knocked down. Stroman scrambles to get it. Underhand. Got him.
I've had sitting in the shade.
So we didn't really have a lot of these last year. I've seen two, but a lot of them from the Cubs.
Gonzalez pops up the bunt. Stroman. He was fighting the sun and
Okay, I have the bar.
That's a
Shouldn't
fun
him
one.
chat about sunballs.
Right back to Stroman. Flips it to Rizzo. 1, 2, 3.
Him and Fried might be a great fielding combo.
Back up the middle. So about
It's nice.
that Gold Glove for Marcus.
Maybe a
Stroman.
nice rapport with Goldie or something.
Right back to Stroman. There's one. On to first. That's a double play.
Wow, look at the punch out.
Tight.
Yeah, the way we searched these on that site, none of all of his good plays as a Yankee were like even or easier. He didn't make like unlikely plays by their assessment system, so we didn't get to see the best of his defense. But he's a guy who can make a play for you out there.
I like it.
Let's get the best of that defense this year. All around.
Yeah. Threw his off-speed pitches for a strike just 55% of the time since 2023, which is the lowest amongst starters. Just nibbles a little bit. Or uses as a setup pitch. All right. How will you evaluate his season, Jake?
I will evaluate Marcus Stroman on pretty much ERA, man. Like the innings high or low both have benefits that I think it's just pure ERA.
Yeah. Yeah, because evaluating Marcus Stroman individually is one thing, but evaluating what he can do for the team, limit bullpen usage, hand him wins, don't dig holes. There's no real way to formulate that into one stat.
I guess there's not a lot of starting pitchers that I'm okay with them throwing 110 great innings, or I'm okay with them throwing 170 good innings.
Yeah. And it's like hand the bullpen a win. But also, I get through 6th inning. Be nice. Make
nice.
some nice plays.
Right.
Yeah, I guess ERA or like ERA is how you judge pitchers. But also, though, like for where we're at in the rotation, we need a steady. So, like, if he can just take the ball every 5 games and give you a chance to like compete, I don't need the ERA to be 3.2 or 2.9. I can have it 3.6 if he's getting out there and giving him a chance to pitch and staying steady because we got 2 injuries already. There's value to that.
3.6 can feel very different. It can feel like what you just said, or if he's doing 3.6 but he leaves 2 runners on for the bullpen every time, that feels daunting.
I always I always go back to Clark Schmidt's 2023. He made 32 starts, so he was there every turn, which is great. but he did not like go deep into games. So it was like, okay, well, once every 5 games, the bullpen's gonna have to really do a lot of work. So that's like the downside. And he had a 4.6 ERA. So I'm like, is that season good?
Right. Once a month, give us 7 innings pitched.
Yeah. All right, there you go. What do you guys want from Stroman? Let us know below.
And thanks for subscribing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.